Hi Cancer, welcome to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and Cancer, this is going to be a reading for you for May 2025, and it's a general reading. And in today's reading, I want to look at your healing journey, and in particular, I want to look at a situation that you're sitting in right now. I want to look at the origin of the situation, so kind of get a backstory of it. And in order to do that, I'm going to be using these cards from Ina Segal's deck called Heal Yourself. And so I'll be pulling 4 cards from that. And so like I said, I'll start off with the past. Then I'm going to look at the present and what's going on with where you're at right now. So in particular, I want to know what you need to focus on right now in regards to this situation. And then I'll look at the future. And that's going to tell me what are the possibilities of your future outcome when you go towards healing this situation. And then finally, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for a 4th card, and that's going to be the overall message for you, something that you need to understand regarding this situation. And so I'll be clarifying those 4 cards with the Tarot of the Abyss. And I'll also be using the Radiant Rider-Waite decks for further clarification. And so I'm going to put you on speed shuffle while I set this up for you right now. All right, I'm back, Cancer. So let's begin with the origin of the situation. So this is kind of the backstory of the situation you're in. And you started off with card number 20. And card number 20 is in reverse for you. And when a card comes in reverse, you have 3 of them in reverse, actually the top row. It means that you really need to focus on that within like the next 7 days is what Ina Segal wrote in her book. So it's something like almost like, this is a bit urgent here for you to look at. So you have the family and tribe in reverse. So here it is. Be very discerning with other people's opinions. Become aware of how the beliefs of your family and tribe are influencing you. What did you learn about relationships, money, and opportunities when you were younger? Ask yourself, am I still carrying some of these outdated beliefs? Am I trying to seek love and approval from my family by doing what they want me to do? An important question to ask yourself is whether you are living your life in order to make someone else or yourself happy. So often working with your energy centers, in particular the root chakra, can help you release past limitations and hurts. This card asks you to examine your loyalties, your family beliefs, your superstitions, and your rituals that have power over you. So let go of anything that is not serving you. You're also being asked to face your fears of being different and embrace your uniqueness, even if others don't understand and approve of your actions. That's very fascinating for you. So what family beliefs do you need to let go of that no longer serve you? And that's what you're looking at right now. And I think that's kind of like the past where, that's the backstory of maybe knowing that there's something that you need to let go of, realizing that, there's some things that you're understanding that maybe your family or your tribe are just not supporting you. And it's interesting because you do get the 7 of Wands over here, which is very much a card of feeling like you're not supported and validated on this journey. You are also getting the letting go card coming out, which is the, where did I see it here? The death card. It's coming right out here in this first part. So I love these cards. They don't lie to me. They are very truthful. And so let's get a little bit more story, a little bit more information about this letting go card, this family and tribe, and what beliefs you need to let go of that are no longer serving you. And and I think you're realizing that. The first card you get right behind it is the Strength card. And, this is a card that says, it comes when it says, you have the inner strength. This is all about the inner strength here. This woman here who actually has befriended this lion here And it really is, and oftentimes you see her prying out its mouth. It's like it's prying open that Pandora's box. And I think this tells me that you're dealing with a lot of emotions around this situation. Maybe there's some anger in there. Maybe there's some grief, but there's a lot of emotions that you need to get to in order to make this move. Because I know from being on this healing journey that you need to work through your emotions around this whole situation. You need to allow yourself to feel them in order for you to make this move. And that's what blocks us on this journey. But you have the strength here. You have that strength to go inwards and feel some of these emotions. Look at some of these belief systems and around what you've been following, and know that you have the strength to do that. Six of Wands comes in, and the Six of Wands is in an upright position. First of all, I'm going to say that all my sixes in my deck have a duality to them. So on one hand, this looks like this ballerina has just finished this performance, right? And she's bowing to her audience that are definitely supporting her, definitely validating her, like amazing performance here. It's in reverse because I think I can see that this is the big emotion that you are blocking. And this card, like I said, if you look at it from the outside, it looks like there's a real victory. But because this card has a duality to it, I always have to look at what is hidden and what you don't see, and the opposite of victory is a loss. And so there's some real loss here that you need to focus on that is blocked right here. And when we want to get to our losses, of our childhood, we really need to grieve. And so there's a real call for you to grieve. And we need to grieve when we need to let go of something. And this is the Death card of this letting go. And it's in reverse because, there's a real resistance on your part to doing it. And you see how this horse is going through, trampling all these individuals here at the bottom. And this card is very much a card about letting go. And it could be letting go of people. It could be letting go of habits. Letting go of family beliefs. And when you realize that, all this time, it's like, I don't want to be connected to these family beliefs. Maybe there's certain people that you don't want to be connected to at all. What is it that it's time to let go? And when we do that grieving, when we take the time to go inwards with the Strength card and just allow ourselves to grieve, we will know what we need to do next. We'll know the next step and we'll be able to do it. But it's that resistance to going inwards and allowing ourselves to grieve is what's blocking us from taking that next step. And so where are you right now? What do you need to focus on right now, presently with this situation? Well, you have the Love card in reverse, and it's number 28. And it says, let go of your limiting beliefs around love. Your heart desires more connections, love, and nourishment. You're at a point in your life where you need to learn how to truly give and receive love. Fully opening your heart will awaken your vulnerability, sensitivity, and fear. In particular, your fear of rejection and intimacy with another person. However, you will also unleash your passion, your inspiration, your greatness, and an ability to care deeply. So start seeing how great life is and be willing to connect to others. If you have been holding on to past pain, then it is time to acknowledge, feel, and move forward. Give yourself permission to let people in. Ask for love with all your heart and soul, and it will come. Look for something beautiful in every person you encounter. Focus on feeling good whenever you see people loving each other and knowing this is coming to you in a form of love of a lifetime or an incredible friendship. And so this really is a card of, what past pain do you need to heal here? And when we start to let go our past pain, it makes room for other things to come in. And so what past pain do you need to heal? Well, you have the Devil card as a clarification, and then you have the King of Wands that's right behind it. So let's start off the Devil card, which was sideways. And the Devil card talks about attachments. And, you know, we can be attached to a lot of things. It talks about addictions. This is a healing journey. We can be addicted to people. We can be addicted to love. We can be addicted to, you know, lots of things like drugs or alcohol or, you know, Netflix binging. There's just, you know, so many things we can be addicted to. But I think in this particular case, it's like there's this addiction to love, addicted to people is coming in here. And that's what makes it really so hard to let go of people, our family, our tribe, people that we've been connected to all our life. Because we know we have this, it's hard. I mean, you're connected, deeply, deeply connected to these people. And to let them go is very difficult. And so I think this card is coming in because there is an attachment. When my attachment card comes in, the Devil, it's like you need to become aware. You need to become aware of how connected you are, or how you're holding on to this situation over here. You're holding on to, you know, you don't want to let them go, because you have the King of Wands that comes right behind it. And, you know, a part of this, like I said, is when you let go of certain connections that you know are no longer serving you, it opens up doorways for other relationships, other healthier relationships to come in for you. And this King of Wands comes in, and this particular king, this is, the king, first of all, is our ego self. And our ego self is what will block us from taking the step that we need to take. And this particular King of Wands is the one, it's holding on to this wand, and the wand is our creative direction, going towards our purpose. And our purpose and our creative direction can be this small little step that we need to take for ourselves. And the small little step that you're being asked to do is to let what's not serving you, family beliefs, maybe people that need to go in your life. And that's the small step that you're needing to take. And this king can come in here and really, you know, kind of wreak havoc on all this. Our ego self can really put doubts in our head. It can say all kinds of things to us, like, who do you think you are? What are you doing? You have no right to do this. And, you know, there's a lot of guilt that can be involved in this. And you're, because your ego self is a very scared part. And it wants status quo no matter what. And it'll fight for it. It's trying to protect you because that was its role when you were younger. But you're not young anymore. You're an adult. And your ego self needs to understand that no, this is what I need to do. And so it'll put all these doubts and all these things in your head to try to get you to not do this. Because it thinks that it's dangerous. It thinks that, you know, you need to stay in this situation to be protected. Well, you don't need their protection anymore. And the last card that comes out right underneath everything was the Two of Swords in reverse. And the Two of Swords is this individual that has put a blindfold on, that's crossed their heart with these Two of Swords. But look in the background. You see that water flowing? I mean, there's an incredible amount of flow. There's lots of emotions that are flowing here. There's that grief. And you have literally, like, I can see you've taken these swords, and it's like you're up in your head. And when we're up in our head, that's our ego self, because that's where it wants to keep you up in your head, because we don't feel up there. And that's where the ego self will keep you. It's like, no, 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 no. You're not going into this grief. You're not touching this grief. And it is so scared that you're going to go towards this grief. And so it's going to keep you up in your head. And it doesn't want you to go into your body, because that's where your grief is. Our emotions are in our body. But it's really become a situation where, you know, it's time that you go into this grief. And there's a real call in this reading so far for you to touch that, to feel that grief, to get into your body. And so let's see what the possibilities of a future outcome when you start to feel that grief, when you allow yourself. You sit, you get still, and you ground into that. And I know that's the last thing that your ego self wants you to do, believe me. So you have the card for the possibilities of a future outcome. You have self-love. And again, it's in reverse because that's something that, you need to look at what's happening right now. So it's number 24, self-love. Take time out. Take time out to get to know yourself and what works for you in this particular cycle of your life. Some of the biggest obstacles to self-love are self-criticism. Fascinating because, you have self-criticism. The Five of Wands card's coming here for self-criticism. So some of the biggest obstacles to self-love are self-criticism and perfectionism, which lead to harsh judgment of the self, closing down, and eventually illness. Have you been trying to compete with others, get approval from people in your family, or simply pushing yourself too hard? If so, you need to soften and start listening to your body. Focus on keeping your heart open and practicing acknowledging and recognizing the good in yourself and others. This card beckons you to breathe love in and out every moment of the day. Ask yourself, what changes do I need to make to my daily routine so that love can pulsate through everything, every breath, action, and relationship I engage in? So, what do you need to do for self-love right now? It's very much time that you start to focus on you, right? And I think this is why you're being asked to let go these family beliefs, or let go of maybe people in your family that no longer serve you, because it's time now in the future. It's going to be a focus on you and no longer looking at, oh, what do I need to do for my family? What do I have to do for them? And following what their wants and needs are. Because right here is the Seven of Swords in reverse. And the Seven of Swords in an upright position speaks about this individual. And this is a card that reminds me of myself when I'm on this healing journey, me being on this healing journey, when you start to put yourself first. And this is what this individual is doing. And look what happens when you put yourself first. Well, you have all these family members will come after you, all these people close to you that you were hoping would support you and validate you. And you're going to find that they don't. They become a little bit, I'm going to say their nose gets out of joint. That's what the expression I heard. It's like, who do you think you are? Get down from that pedestal. You're not allowed to put yourself first. You're not allowed to go off and heal yourself. What are you talking about? You need to stay down here with us, because people don't want to do their own healing. And you are going on this journey. And you're going to find that, people in the future aren't going to necessarily support you. And that's what you need to be aware of. And that's very common on this healing journey. And so I will leave you in the end with some lessons, a video from my other channel called Carol Cares. And it's a video about the 10 lessons I've learned on my own healing journey. And it's exactly, one of them is exactly about that. Actually, a couple of them are exactly about that. And I think you need to watch that just to see, what will happen when you start to step out and go on your own healing journey and kind of, let go of these family beliefs and these people. The Seven of Pentacles comes out as well as clarifier here. And it's this individual. It's in reverse. In an upright position. This individual has been spending a lot of time hoeing these pentacles, spending their whole life committing to something, And I think this is what you're seeing. You're seeing that you've spent your whole life committed to your family beliefs, maybe committed to people in your family, maybe committed yourself to pleasing certain individuals, and talked about perfectionism and trying to please other people in your family. But I think you're starting to realize that, for what? what is this giving me? Or what's it giving me now? It's like it's no longer serving you anymore. And it's time. Fool card comes out. Doesn't come out often in my readings, but when it does, it's like the universe is kind of saying, this is, and I think that's why these 3 cards are in reverse. It's like, it's time now. Like, we're going to push you off this cliff. The universe is saying you need that push. It's time for you to take that dive, take that step off that cliff, and believe and have faith that the universe has your back, right? Believe that the universe has your back. You know, Cancer, and I forgot to mention this, you are a very sensitive and emotional sign. You need to feel, and this is what I'm hearing now, like you need to feel. You need to feel this grief for sure. And so what's going to happen here? What's the final message that you need to understand? 36 is the hole in the soul, is the last card for you. The hole in the soul. It came out. This card comes out a lot this month. Your childhood wounds are creating a hole in your soul. One way your childhood wounds disrupt an extraordinary life is through low-grade depression, experienced as a perpetual empty feeling. And I gotta say that this 7 of Pentacles I talked about, it's like, is this everything? And I think that's where that empty feeling comes in here. If as a child you tried to make everything all right by picking up the pieces of your family dramas, then you adopted a false self. When you lose your authentic self, you disconnect from your true feelings, your needs, and your desires. Instead, you wear a mask to make others feel more comfortable. Being detached leads to profound loneliness and isolation, as you are always mourning your true self. You're always wanting to go towards, you're always being pulled towards your true self, your purpose. This card encourages you to discover your true self through learning about your childhood and mourning the abandonment and neglect that you felt. And that's the grieving that needs to take place here. And so the 5 of Wands is what I told you that came in, was that these birds right here, if you look closely, they're kind of battling it out, right? Birds collect twigs and they make their nest out of it. And so they're kind of battling it out, saying, no, this stick is the right one, right? It's longer than yours. Mine's better than yours. And I call this my self-critic card. It's the battle of the ego, where you start to compare. You look at yourself in the mirror and you start to compare, and you really, really are like, we can be our own worst enemy when we start to really beat ourselves up, you know. And I think this is really this hole in the soul card, where I think you've beat yourself up for too long now, because of maybe what family has told you, because of the beliefs that family have told you who you are, and you've continued to believe them. You know, I can't tell you how many beliefs I've had to undo. I've had to rewire my whole brain to say, you know what? This bullshit that they told you, it's not true. And I think this is what this last line is saying, you know. What sort of things are you believing here? And then you get this Ace of Swords in reverse. It's in reverse because it's an offer. It's kind of like, it's a gift from the universe. And it's, you know, it's right now, you know, remember, this is the final message. The universe wants you to take this. It's in reverse now because there's a real resistance to it. But are you going to take this sword? This is the sword. I talked about swords right up here. There's 2 of Swords right here. Kind of like being up in your head. So the swords are belief systems. They're our mental energy, our mental thoughts. Like I said, the things that we were told when we were younger. And this sword right here, when it's by itself for the ace, it's like, here's your sword that represents your truth. I call this sometimes the sword of authenticity, but it's going to be the sword that cuts through the bullshit that your family has told you, Cancer. That's not true. And right now, you know, you are still like you're on the cusp here. You're ready to jump off that edge. But it's like, I'm not believing this anymore. I'm not believing this stuff that I've been, you know, holding in all my life and believing And here you get the Seven of Wands again. Very powerful when I get the card again. You had it in reverse here. But here's you right now. It's time. It's time, Cancer, to step out. And again, here's the warning that says, you know, you're not going to be validated. You're probably not going to be supported. And there are going to be people around you that are going to shock the hell out of you, because you thought there were people that would support you on your own healing journey, but it doesn't always happen. But it's time for you to step out here. And on this healing journey, it requires us to step out ourselves. That's what the journey is all about. And so I'm going to leave the video, like I told you, from Carol Cares, about all the lessons I've learned in my last 8 years of intensive healing. And so I want you to have compassion for yourself, for what you're working through right now, Cancer. This is a very difficult journey, your healing journey, but it's the most important journey of your life. So take care, and I'll talk to you next month. Bye.